now. Hey, Kate, how are you doing today?
Good, Drew. How are you, brother?
Dude, doing great, man. I am excited for this Friday. I'm excited to get some awesome people there. I'm excited to have a big crowd and lots of people to come network and, meet new people and definitely consult other local professionals that are trying to do the same thing or learn from the better, since that's kind of our goal this month is to have people who have already done what they, or achieved their goals. They are in the position that we are trying to get to. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be a good meetup this month. How about
100%. Yeah,
you?
dude. I can't wait. It's gonna be sick. I know that I've been spending some extra time on Mondays to be super focused on making those direct calls to a lot of my sphere. And most of them have been, telling me that they really want to make me be there. So I'm super stoked about it. So yeah, I think let's dive in straight today. Instead of a weekly update that we normally do as far as the markets are concerned, for me, I am going to be going over something that happened last weekend. I believe it was Thursday when it came out. But the Biden administration has come out with a plan to essentially punish people with a higher credit score and incentivize people with a lower credit score to be able to purchase. So I'm going to just speak. I know people get all nervous about politics. I think it's ridiculous. I think this is one of the most idiotic plans I've ever heard of. And most of, the people that I've discussed with have the same feeling. So I'll briefly just go over and read through this article very quickly. We'll quickly discuss on it, and then we can hop over to you, Drew, okay?
That sounds perfect.
So the Biden administration is attempting to punish people who've paid their bills on time. That's the result of the Federal Housing Finance Agency's 2023 alteration set to take effect on May 1st, okay? The new Biden enforced federal rule will levy an additional fee on those with high credit scores in an effort to subsidize those with riskier credit looking to purchase houses. Those with credit scores of 680 or above are expected to pay an additional $40 to $60 per month more than those with lower scores on home loans of around $400,000. Fees will be highest for those making down payments of 15 to 20%. The Washington Times spoke to California loan officer Ian Wright about the changes. Wright was unequivocal that this decision was inexplicable. The changes do not make sense. Penalizing borrowers with larger down payments and credit scores will not go over well, he explained. Another loan originator told the New York Post it's going to be a challenge trying to explain to somebody that says, I worked my whole life for high credit and I put a lot of money down and you're telling me that's a negative now? Sounds exactly like something the Biden administration would support. So anyway, aside from politics, it seems like whoever wrote this article, definitely does not support the Biden administration. However, the facts are there. So anyone with a 680 or higher is, from what I understand, will be expected to pay an additional fee. And the way it's actually calculated, I'm not exactly actually sure. I believe it has something to do with the loan level price adjustments, and there's an extra fee attached to a part of that LLPA. So my biggest piece of advice just moving forward, if you are in the market to buy or you're a real estate agent and you have to inform your clients, speak to a lender. Speak to a lender who is aware of this plan, is aware of its effects, and that way you can be educated in the best possible way. I just know personally a lot of people don't even know about this. So that's why I wanted to bring it, to the attention of everyone viewing today for this week's update. But yes, like I said, I still have yet to speak with, my lender contacts. But I'm going to be doing that this week just so I know for a fact, what this all entails. I can say this is probably a plan and a rule that will probably get reversed at some point, is what I'm going to be expecting, honestly, in the next 12, 16 months. So honestly, I'm not sure how big of an issue it is. However, it is a pretty crappy policy and it's unfortunate. So it's something to be aware of. And again, consult with lenders who are aware of this plan.
Yeah, and just kind of my mind is firing in a lot of different directions, and I know that you don't know and you're not an expert on it yet because it just came out, nor are you in the lending field. But I mean, honestly, that when you have now the difference of saying, should I put 20% down and pay this extra fee, or should I put 5% down, leverage my money and pay, PMI, then, or is that what it is? Mortgage insurance? Like,
Yeah.
you're better off, honestly, at this point, paying the mortgage insurance than you are paying the fees, because you're getting fairly penalized. That's crazy. That's nuts.
I
I'm
know.
shocked.
When I saw it, I kid you not, Drew, I thought it was a joke. And then
Oh
I
my
started
gosh.
reading some articles and I'm like, what the piss? This is serious. And so it's really unfortunate. It doesn't make any sense. And unfortunately, I've already heard some concerns about, oh my gosh, here comes 2008 yet again. And I have to, when the government is pulling crap like this, it's hard to explain to the consumer that no, this is not, 2008, I promise, right? Real estate's a supply and demand issue. But then you have your government pull crap like this, where it's like, okay, but now they're going to be incentivizing and subsidizing people with, low credit scores who can't afford payments to be
Who
able
are
to apply.
more likely to foreclose, which is what the
Right,
main problem was
right,
last time. There's an
right.
on flood of houses, too much supply, not enough demand, that crashed the market. Yeah,
Right.
recipe
And
for
so
disaster.
exactly. So then you have people who are on that fence, right? Of they're not buying in the first place because they're scared of a crash, right? And so then, we as realtors are spending all our efforts and energy trying to educate our clients and prospects about why that's not the case. And then you have, freaking Biden pull crap like this. So it pisses me off, one, not just because, from the agent perspective of having to educate people, but also because it just makes no freaking sense. It's actually retarded. I could understand this, Drew. I could see Biden pulling something where he's maybe, putting a program in place to where people with lower credit, can, they're incentivized to purchase. But to harm people who do it right, see that's where people are pissed, and rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's just crap on the people that actually, have great credit, they pay their debts on time, they manage their money well. Let's just make it harder for them. That doesn't make sense to me, and that's kind of why I'm pissed about it. But again, if you're watching this, please consult with the lender, figure out what this means, not only for you, but for your clients. And that way you could just be informed. But like I said, I don't think this is something that, you know, completely changes, the real estate industry. I think it's something that just gets, vetoed out in the next 12 months when, there's a change of anything. So, but yeah, it's important right now to be made aware of. So,
Absolutely.
all right, Drew, how
Absolutely.
about you, brother?
Yeah, well, mine isn't as crazy. I think that, yours is definitely like the biggest takeaway. Like, make sure to take away that and just keep it in your back pocket, be informed. It's the best thing out there. As for my metrics, S&P 500 was down last week amongst most of the indexes. So S&P was down about 7.75%, but still up 8% on the year. Russell 2000 down about 1%, but still up about 2.5% in the year to date. And then Dow Jones was down about 0.3%, still up about 2.2% year to date. So down week, but again, kind of uncertainties in the market. It's really this volatile market. I think we're going to stay pretty flat, like I've said. Like, we're going to kind of bounce around, flutter around for now, where we're at. Could see some ups, could see some downs, but just a lot of uncertainty in the market. My biggest thing was this past week I got sick, and I have been constantly go, 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 like nonstop grind. It's our fiscal year ends June 30th. And so I'm trying to hit my goals, hit my last minute numbers, wrap up all the loose ends, and just try to make sure that I can be as well positioned to hit my goals as I want. But getting sick really threw a wrench in things and made me really upset and frustrated, because I just wanted to go, go, go and work, work, work. But actually getting sick was kind of a blessing. It gave me that understanding of how important it is to take a mental health day and to take care of yourself, because I was so stressed out to the point where it was like I was waking up every day with a pit in my stomach and going to bed with that same pit. And
Oh,
so just stressed and like, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? My mind was consumed, and every decision I made was consumed. And I was putting myself, limiting my fun time that I was giving myself and allowing myself, because I was forcing myself to just work from, the time I woke up till the time I went to bed. And so getting sick and feeling not good enough to do anything but literally lay in bed and have the TV on as background noise made me understand that, hey, you got to take care of yourself, because I probably wouldn't have gotten as sick as I did had I not pushed myself for the 3 weeks beforehand. So just a
Yeah.
reminder of taking care of yourself and your health, because as you and I kind of talked about before we even hopped on this call, is like the money, the relationships, everything you do in life doesn't matter if you can't get up. If you're buried beneath the ground, then it doesn't, all of
Yeah.
it's for nothing. And so
Right.
making sure that you're taking care of yourself almost first and foremost, so that you can be your best in every other aspect of your life, is important. So that's my takeaway. Just take a mental health day this week if you can. Take one
Yeah.
day, allocate it, maybe watch some TV, hang out with the fam, brain dead. Just take time for you and disconnect if you haven't for a little while. So,
Yeah, I love it, dude. And it's funny that you bring that up because I think it was last week. I had woken up, I think it was a Wednesday. I had woken up and I was just so unmotivated. And it's so weird because I'll just have those days sometimes where I'm just completely unmotivated to do anything. And I ended up just literally laying in bed till noon, didn't go to the office, just kind of, did some laundry, cleaned my bathroom, didn't do much, And I was super hard on myself for that day because I'm like, man, I didn't even do anything today. And turns out, as far as my real estate sales career is concerned, that was one of my more productive days. Like I had gotten an offer accepted that day. And I had, some clients send me some stuff that they wanted to write up another offer on. And I was like sitting there, I'm like, holy crap, like here I've been, the past whatever, 3 weeks, similar to you, right? Just nose, to the grindstone, just grinding and not get much of anywhere, right? And then the
yeah,
one day that I just kind of take to, rest and, is one of my more productive days. So I don't know, it's just really funny and ironic, but it is super, super important, and I have family members who have gotten sick and, just unhealthy, not only physically, but in their relationships because they just outwork themselves and
absolutely.
it's really not worth it, man. It's really not. And that's something I constantly battle is working versus, time with the family or resting or whatever. Because,
Absolutely.
you and I both can relate to just wanting to, be better and improve and keep going. So just
That's it.
understand that there's a balance there. What would you say is, your biggest piece of advice or something that you do that really benefits you when it comes to just focusing on your mental and physical health?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, taking the time to, self affirmations, right? Every morning when you wake up, and consistently maybe taking some time to, whether you pray or motivate or just sit in silence and think about, the things, super important to starting every single day off right. But then when it comes to, your sort of overall mental health, I previously, before this 3 week stint, I made sure that at least one day a week I devoted to family and myself. So I disconnected from work. It's typically Sundays for me. Disconnect from work, disconnect from, my phone. Really, I'm kind of technology free that day. And I focus entirely on maybe reading or hanging out with my family or hanging out with friends, or honestly just laying down and do nothing, or just relaxing, like whatever that looks like, sitting by the pool, sitting in the hot tub, like whatever that looks like, making sure that I'm prioritizing a day a week for myself that I can just completely disconnect and understand, making sure that everyone around me, my spheres, my clients, they all understand that on Sundays I'm unreachable, is, I think, super important. And setting those boundaries, because it's easy to get sucked in to, oh, you worked with me in the past at 8 o'clock at night on a Tuesday. Why won't you do that now? And then you're like,
Right.
yeah, that's true. I can't change the narrative now. But you set those boundaries, you set those allowances today, and it does affect future use. So starting to kind of cut those out and establish boundaries so you're not getting overworked and you are prioritizing, because you're right. lots of people I know personally how I have had relationship problems or divorced because one partner is working all the time and the other's not showing the adequate attention and love because their love languages are different. I mean, it could be as simple as
Mm,
that. You know, one person's money driven, the other person's really just family oriented, and the two don't speak. And one doesn't take the time to show the value of the other, and there you go. So
mm, goodness.
yeah. I would say
Oh,
just making sure that you are taking the time for you and your loved ones because
mm.
it is very important, pivotal. So
Yeah, so I looked up a quote just about kind of the work-life balance situation. And
mm,
this first one that pops up, um, this is pretty funny. Do you mind if I share it, or did you have a quote in mind?
no, go for it. Share.
So this one says, I don't know who it's by, let's see. Okay, some politician says, no one on his deathbed ever said, I wish I had spent more time at the office.
So true. That's so true.
Um, it's
I
true,
love
man.
that. I
It's
love that.
super
It's so
true.
true. It's like one of those quotes where, it was talking about how like people who work all the time but they work their 9 to 5 jobs, and it was like if you had a bunch of things, all of your regrets spinning around you in a circle, and would you be able to give excuses as to why those are regrets and why you chose differently versus what you did. And if you can't give, because everybody has regrets,
Yeah.
but most times you can link them to a logistical reason or a logical reason in your mind as to why you made the decision that you did. If there are regrets that you have in your life that you don't have logical answers for, don't allow those to happen. Like if you chose to do something over something else, and yeah, that something else could have done better, but you chose something that was maybe off to the side, like maybe you choose to hang out with your family opposed to going a business meeting that could have netted you a multi-million-dollar client or a multi-million-dollar sale, right? You still chose your family, which is equally as important in a different way. It makes sense. Yeah, you missed out. It's a regret that you might have had, but you didn't know, right? But if you just chose to go home and sit and watch TV and over that business meeting, man, that's a different story, right?
Right. Right.
so, so yeah,
100%.
yeah, I love that. I think that's amazing. You're so right. No one ever chooses, or no one ever says they wish they worked more days in the office. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
that is
Um,
good.
well, see, man. Well, thank you so much, and dude, I'm excited for Friday. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, dude. I'm super stoked. We're gonna have a good turnout. And for everyone watching, if this is your first time seeing me and Drew, we invite you to come to our NGRN meetup. It's going to be this Friday, 5:30 to about 8:30 at the U of A Sands Club. Everyone's invited. It's free. So come hang out. We're going to have a lot of successful people there in many different ways. And so you will not leave this meetup without some value added to you. So we
Absolutely,
hope to see everyone there.
absolutely. All right, guys. Well, enjoy. Cade, take care, and we'll see you Friday. If not, then see you next week.
See you, brother.